What's up guys, Corey has no life here. I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon or evening wherever you happen to be watching this in the world. We are here for episode number 11 of the F1 Noob career mode from the Silverstone circuit for the British Grand Prix. Funnily enough, this is going to come out on the Tuesday morning, and I'm recording this voiceover currently on the Sunday, so race day. As we're going through the R&D, we're having a look at the progress history here, and we kind of plateaued a little bit with McLaren while we're waiting for the major chassis upgrade to come in. And it looks like it's going to be a very wet qualifying here, as we're going to jump straight into Quali, as we're going to hear from the commentators.
It's time once again then for qualifying here at Silverstone, on what we're hoping will be a tight contest for pole position. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ants. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack, and one or two cars just behind the pace setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you're better off waiting, saving the tyres, and going out at the perfect moment. The other thing that comes with these conditions? Traffic, and the lack of visibility that comes from sitting in the spray. It's going to be a constant problem, and I expect to see a lot of frustrated drivers with ruined laps out there today.
As we are going to jump straight into our lap now. This is the first lap that we're going to do in Q1. In fact, it's going to be the only lap that we do in Q1. As we get off the gas there for the first corner. Just taking it very gentle. This is the first time we've had full wet running the entire weekend. I only did 2 of the practice sessions. I'm starting to skip third practice just because I'm getting all of the practice programs out of the way in the first and second practice sessions. So there's no real need for me to do the third practice. So I've just been simulating it. As we come up past the first DRS straight, we get a big drift going into that left-hander. As we come around what used to be the penultimate corner, heading to the old main straight. A little bit of a wobble there coming out of the old final corner. And then running a little bit wide here, just outside of that slightly drier line where everyone's been running. And because we've done so little wet weather running here in the weekend, trying to figure out the grip levels here in the qualifying without doing any other runs previously was actually pretty hard. I don't have very much experience with Silverstone in the wet, and yeah, but we nailed the apex pretty good there. We run a little bit wide on the exit of that corner as we come up to the final section here. Miss the apex, come around the final corner, and that's going to put us on top with a 1:48.524. But by the end of qualifying 1 here, as you can see, we've dropped down to 3rd behind Leclerc and Hamilton. You see Pierre Gasly is in P7, Lucas Weber in 13th, my teammate George Russell up into 14th, good for him. And another Q1 elimination for Devin Butler. As we move now onto Q2. And if you've read the title for this, then this is where it happens. We're going around our lap. It's not going to happen until later on in the lap, and we're going to have some extensive replays as well. First DRS straight here. Jam it down into 4th. think about third, but don't go for it. Going up through the gears, just clipping 8th before the end of the old straight. Max Verstappen currently on pole with a 1:48.7. Just trying to be as gentle as I can on the throttle. Don't want to spin the wheels too much. You see there's yellow flags ahead. There's a red dot in the corner. And he's almost on the racing line. It's Vettel. We go to the inside to avoid him. Take a very wide line sideways through the exit. No penalty. And no invalidated lap. We get it down into second. And we come across the line. It's pole with a 1:47.8. I'm going to go check out the replay here. It's Sebastian Vettel. And he's been absolutely smashed by Daniel Ricciardo. Oh, Ricciardo with absolutely nowhere to go. He's just plucked off his right front. We're going to go on board with Daniel now to have a look at it. And yeah, it's just... he's sitting there right on the apex curbing. Daniel clips him, loses his tyre, and he drives off. We go and have a look at the instance here. And Sebastian Vettel is going to get a grid penalty for the Grand Prix. I think that's pretty well deserved considering he was stopped on the apex curbing. We have a look at the results now. We get the win. We see here Sebastian Vettel 5th place penalty. We go down, we go up, sorry, to Pierre Gasly, our rivals, up in 5th. Lucas Weaver 10th, and our teammate George Russell out of Q2 in P12. So now we're going to move on to the final qualifying session here. Pushing very hard through that final corner. As you saw, we wanted to maximise our run through that front straight. Go a little bit wide on that next corner before this little bit of a hairpin. Go for a big drift. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift would have been proud of that. Starting to push a lot harder than what the racing line says that we should. We're also coming up behind of another car there. I'm pretty sure that's Bottas. So now it's kind of like a carrot on the end of a stick as Sebastian Vettel goes to provisional pole with a 1:48. Around the old turn 1. Bottas still just right there in front of us. We're trying to maximise all of our cornering speed so we can try and get onto his tail. We go purple to the second sector, but that doesn't mean much when no one else has really done a time yet. Get down into 4th gear very nicely, pushing as hard as we can, take all the exit curving that we can. Lewis Hamilton at 1:48.4. We skated into this final section of corners right behind Bottas. We crossed the line as a 1:47.9.
Fantastic. That was the...
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin,
we get
let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid.
Hamilton, Vettel and
Max
Verstappen.
Verstappen. With qualifying complete,
We coming
all that
home in
remains is the
4th
main
and our
event.
rival Pierre
We'll be
Gasly
live and
in
uninterrupted
P7
for the
there.
Grand Prix
Lucas
tomorrow,
Weber
so
all
make
the way
sure
down
you
in
join us
10th.
then.
So not good for our former F2 teammate. As we're going to have our interview with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Are you happy with where you'll be on the grid tomorrow? How does a car perform in these conditions? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage?
Appreciate your time.
There we go. Now we move on to the rivalry update, and we're beating both of our rivals there. We're actually almost going to beat George Russell here and get another rivalry win against him. We see the update in the resource points as well. A lot of resource points gained, 220, which brings us up to 1200. And we gained some reputation with a few of the other teams there. We've maxed out reputation with almost all of them now.
Alright, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Alright, so now we're going to go check the messages to see the weather prediction once more. And then it's time to go race for the British Grand Prix.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the With me today is a man who's no stranger to the thrills of Silverstone. He's a past winner here in sports cars, of course. It's our good friend Anthony Davidson. You seem particularly excited for this one, Ant. Is there something you want to tell me?
Oh, just looking forward to it, Crofty. It's always a very special atmosphere, and also I started karting in the late 1980s, and I was here for that epic race in 1986 with Mansell and Piquet fighting each other right here in my home Grand Prix. So coming back to Silverstone always means a lot, and looking at the crowd today, it's clear that none of that spirit has been lost. And also, we just have such a fantastic field this year, some very close competition and conditions that should make for some great racing. I can't wait.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Williams, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Gasly, Vettel, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and Lucas Faber, Perez, Russell, Lando Norris, and Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Sainz, Devon Butler, and Roman Grosjean. Albon and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
Alright, so as you saw there, we're starting up in P3 for this one. With Sebastian Vettel's grid penalty. We're going to swap up the tyre strategy again, go for the mediums to the softs. We're just working out what lap we want to come in on. I think we're going to go for about this one. We almost flirted with the idea of coming in a lap earlier, but I just thought that this was probably better for us. As we get ready to go green, go to 5 red lights, and we're underway for the British Grand Prix. Good start from us as we already look to make a move on Verstappen. We think about going for a dive into the third corner and think better of it, sticking behind him for now. Start playing around with the fuel mixture, see if we can try and get an advantage on Verstappen. And we know we definitely got the engine power over him as we go to the outside. Didn't quite have enough momentum to stay up there to take the inside for the next corner. As we go along the old pit straight now. And we've definitely got the slipstream on Verstappen. We go for an inside move. And we make it stick. That is us up into P2 of this Grand Prix. Now we're going to try and chase on the tail of Lewis Hamilton, who is actually on these soft tyres here. So it's going to be hard for us to catch him on the mediums. Looks like Lewis Hamilton is actually pulling away from us here. As we come to the end of the first lap, Lewis Hamilton gets the quick lap of the Grand Prix so far. We move on to the end of lap 7 here, and this is our in lap. Lewis Hamilton still continuing on these soft tyres. He's taken them to their absolute limit. Now this is one of the longest pit lanes that we have here in Formula 1. It looks like there's a couple other teams getting ready to make pit stops this lap as well. We have a really good stop on that one. Let's see where we come out. We're currently 14th, 15th,
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the
16th.
exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
And now we're going to chase on the tail of Stroll. I'm not sure, but I think that might actually be his teammate in front of him as well. Either that or it's Toro Rosso. But we are leading the charge for the cars who have come in and made stops. We've got Ricciardo off in the distance behind us. And it is a Toro Rosso. It's Albon. Came up from F2 with us as well. We go for an inside move just like we did to Verstappen on the first lap, and we take him very easily.
Nice move. Good job.
Now we are chasing on the tail of Stroll. We sit behind him to get the DRS detection. We open up the DRS and he doesn't quite make it too easy for us, but we go around the outside of him here, just clearing before the braking zone.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. George is coming in for his stop.
As you heard there, our teammate coming in for his stop, and we got yellow flags ahead. Valtteri Bottas is out of the race. We have a look, and he's just coming through that final corner, and it looks like he's got a electrical or a hydraulic issue here. He pulls it off to the side on the front straight. We now move on to lap 9 here. We're towards the middle of lap 9. And we are right on Hamilton at the moment. We're close enough that we've got DRS on him.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
We go purple to the middle sector. We squeeze in the tiniest of gaps that he left for us on the outside. Go around him on the outside, going off the exit. No penalty. And we have the inside run for this corner, and we get him cleared. Cut across his nose just to be sure as we go through the final corner. We come across the line, and that's even the fast lap of the Grand Prix. A 1:39.7, I think that was, or a 33.7. Now skip on to the end of lap 12. We're going to start our final lap.
Of the race.
And as you can see there, we've built a 2.1 second gap over Hamilton. Now, we did up the AI difficulty to 80%, but I think we're going to give it till my next contract negotiation to see how things go here, which is only coming in a couple of episodes' time. So even though we've got the lead right now, you know, that could just be because, you know, we're not as bad as we once thought we were. Come up to the old pit straight for the final time. We're just trying to use up all the fuel that we got left as we go purple to the first sector. Unfortunately, this is not going to be another purple lap. Come along the second DRS straight for the final time. music start up, things are starting to get a bit feisty. Through the penultimate corner, through the final corner, and it's the win for Williams again.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Here they are then, coming into Parc Fermé, and an excellent win for the Williams team. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
So here they come now, with Williams leading the way to the podium. A hard-fought victory for the team today, and one I'm sure they'll savour. It's Williams, today's winners.
There you go, we spray some champagne with Lewis Hamilton. And look at that, Vettel managed to come home in third.
Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Sebastian Vettel would definitely be my first choice. He showed up a lot of the drivers out on the track today and didn't show any signs of slowing down.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship.
So we're going to go
Our
start going
championship
through
leaders
the
retain their position,
results
but
here.
their lead
We
is
come
shrinking.
home with the
I'm
win.
equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of
Sebastian
Formula
Vettel coming
One.
home in third
Be
there.
sure
Pierre
to join
Gasly
us
in
for the
fourth,
next
so that's
one.
good for us. He's off the podium, which means we get the most amount of points on him that we can. Lucas Weaver makes himself up into 8th position. We scroll down, George Russell, our teammate, down to 15th, which sucks for him. Devin Butler up into 16th, only gaining 1 position in that race. We'll go have a look at the standings, and we've moved in front of Valtteri Bottas up into 3rd place in the championship now. So the possibility of being in there for the championship fight is there, but we are still 4th in Constructors. And now it's time for our interview with Claire. Or not. No interview with Claire. Wow. Alright, straight onto the rivalry updates here. And we're 2 points away from beating George Russell. We'll be able to get that by the next qualifying session, if we can out-qualify him. And we're going a little bit on Pierre Gasly as well. Look at the resource points now. And we get the team bonus as well, 600, which brings us up to a 2245 in the resource points. And we've just about filled up the reputation meter for all teams.
Great work this weekend. It was fantastic to see you up on that podium.
Now we're going to go and have a look at the R&D tree to see what we can do. I think we're going to go for the major engine cover distribution upgrade, and we're also going to go for this minor upgrade that's in between the 2 majors there. We're having a look over this side to see if we wanted to maybe do something to the engine, but I think for the moment we're not going to do that. Oh, in fact we are. My apologies. We are. So there you go. So we've got 2 major chassis upgrades on the way. We've got 2 minor engine upgrades coming for us for the, well, 1 chassis coming for us in the next GP and the 2 engine upgrades. And we're having a look at our engine here, and some of these parts we're using are looking a little bit old, but for the moment they're alright. We're going to get a new gearbox for the next event as well. So that's going to be another good thing for us. But for the moment, guys, this is going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And as per usual, we'll leave you with the highlights as provided by Formula 1.